But what you saw was this expansion that did not cause retail inflation, it caused asset inflation. Well, what has happened for most of this century in the United States? We've had this big inflation in the stock market and in real estate prices and some other assets, but we haven't seen a lot of retail inflation until the government started sending checks directly to the U.S. population. And so it wasn't until after COVID that we finally saw the retail inflation of the expansion of the currency supply always causes inflation somewhere. It can inflate savings, it can inflate the stock markets, it can inflate real estate, or it can inflate commodities and retail prices. And we are going to be seeing that shift because even though the currency supply is currently contracting, there has been so much created that as some of that leaks out, it's going to cause commodities, so food and energy and so on, to rise along with gold. So whenever this is high, that's gold overvalued and stocks undervalued. Whenever it's low, it's stocks overvalued and gold undervalued. And once we went on to this fiat currency system, you see it go out of equilibrium. You've got the roaring 20s and asset prices soaring, and gold is fixed. And then you've got the crash of 29 and the banking crisis, and then gold is the dollar is devalued against gold, causing this to soar. And then you've got the deflation of the Great Depression, keeping this high. And then you've got the Bretton Woods system was passed here, but sort of took effect over here, and the constant creation of currency, but gold being fixed in price. It was $35 an ounce. And it stayed that price while we inflated the currency supply for the Korean War, for Vietnam, for Johnson's Great Society, and then Nixon takes us off of the Bretton Woods system, and the world goes on the global dollar standard. It wasn't just the U.S. dollar. The rest of the world was pegged to gold through the U.S. dollar. So when we severed the peg to gold with the U.S. dollar, we severed it for the entire world. And this is the stock market going sideways. The Dow hit its head on 1,000 points in 66, didn't break out until 82. So some of the stock market is basically going sideways from here to about here. This is all gold's spectacular move, making up for all of this suppression and currency creation. And then you have the currency creation spilling back over into the stock market, and gold hit its high now. Incrementum, the In Gold We Trust report, they always use the monthly average price for gold, which means that it's probably a ratio that you can be able to hit. It's something where you could, if you did invest at one of these points, you might be likely to, because you've got an entire month here, an entire month there, an entire month there, to be able to sell your position and go into stocks and realize these big gains, because when you're if you're in gold from here to here, you're making gains. If you're in stocks, you may as well flip this chart upside down, because from here to here is huge gains in stocks. Now, this is gold going from here. They've got it. It doesn't on the monthlies. It doesn't even reach 700. It's in the high sixes. So now I'm going to show you on stock charts. It says that gold reached $873 an ounce in January of 1980. And so instead of, if we go back to this incrementum chart, if this is at 6 up here, and so you're a little less than 1 ounce of gold would buy almost 6 shares of the S&P 500. So an ounce of gold, the price of an ounce of gold was almost 6 times the price of the points on the S&P 500. Well, currently it's at like 0.49 or 0.48, something like that. And so if it went back to that equilibrium, that would be about 12 times gains if you are invested in gold now and it goes back up there. But I think it's going higher simply because look at the amount of stored energy here where it goes out of kilter and then makes up for it. Then the amount of stored energy here where it goes out of kilter and then makes up for it. Now, look at all of the years of stored energy that we've got under papering over it.
And the beauty of this as well is when we come around this last time around in 1990, as we swing down to make that head, the inverted head, it looks like, or left shoulder, whatever you want to call it, that inversion down in 2000, it comes back up and doesn't break the average. So it comes down and reconsolidates to confirm the initial breakout. That's ultra bullish, which could lead to an ultra move here. So as this materializes, it's going to be something special. Let me finish this real quick. Then we'll get into the intro and let's get into the midday market report. This will be a tad bit longer, but I wanted to show this because this is so important.
Is just currency creation, and this is, we go from regular economics to Bernanke economics. We go from Keynesian economics to Bernankean economics, and massively papered over things. And so the energy that is stored in this being under the 2.5. So it's this, not this line. Ignore that line. That's the average as calculated by a spreadsheet of all this data. It's not the equilibrium under
like
a fixed monetary system versus a phony baloney fiat currency system that can cause these massive bubbles and disequilibria, everything being out of balance. Balance is up here, and so when this overshoots, it's going to overshoot much higher. Except if you want to know the maximum, you go to this where gold hit 873 instead of 600 and something. And you see that this was almost 8 times, and we're down at, 0.46. So let's I'm going to do a little calculation here.
And after this, we'll get into it.
We have almost, we'll call it 7.75 divided.
Can you just comment for anybody who's here, if you appreciate Mike Maloney? If you don't know who Mike Maloney is, please give him a follow. But if you appreciate this style of information, or if you just enjoyed watching it, let me know, because this is very valuable information for the market report.
By 0.46 equals 7. You're going to get 17 times more shares of stock buying gold today and waiting for this to happen again. And it's probably going to be much larger this time because of this massive amount of stored energy. So this is the reason that I buy gold and silver. I want to thank you for watching. If you got anything
So just in case you don't know, Mike Maloney right now, he's got 736,000. Let's give him a like on this video from yesterday. Or I think it was yesterday I was watching. 2 days ago now. I was showing a little bit yesterday. But give him a follow. He gives fantastic information. He comes out probably 3 times a week. Give him Peter Schiff, Robert Kiyosaki, yes, but he's become more on the FUD side of town, and I don't like it. That's why I don't talk about him as much. Still has good information, but he's trying to make money off of us a lot more now. So, anyhow, just go give Mike Maloney a follow. He's pure, does it. He's got a book out too, a couple of them, a new one that just came out early this year. But he goes through it chapter by chapter if you just watch them. So, I guess you don't even need to buy the book. He gives you basically all the... But let's go over and say hi to everybody. XRP Stu, welcome in. Cam, I'm glad you finally made a live. ATK 777's good morning. Marks and Tick, welcome in. JW, good to see you in here, my friend. Patrick Van Durham, good late morning. I appreciate that. He said, thank you for your hard work. Terry, I'm glad you're in here. Cryptic Crypto, we are not wrong. We are just early. Isn't that the truth? Crypto Bob, Joe Dirt, good late morning. Welcome in. Crypto Bob, JW, John Wiseman, Robert Ferretti, KM, Chat, and Jordan, good morning. And the ones I mentioned prior do appreciate Mike Maloney, so I do appreciate that. You're welcome, Rad Rod. So I'm going to shut my phone off now that I'm caught up. and now I can look at you guys in real time. So, good morning, 11:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, October 5th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I thank the 48 people that are here for the midday market report. I know it's a little earlier than the 12:30, 1 o'clock, but some days it's appropriate to have the midday market report at this time because of stuff that's going on. So I wanted to cover a few things. First, I wanted to sneak that video in this morning. So we got that video in so you guys can see that. But the Dow, as we've been talking about for the better part of probably the last 6 or 7 midday market reports, and if you're not familiar with the midday market report, please, oh, that's Mike Maloney. Mark, that's Mike Maloney, Mikemalloney. You can find him on YouTube. Just type in Mike Maloney, or you can go to goldsilver.com. That's his website where he's actually a gold dealer, gold and silver bullion dealer. You know, he actually has a company. Much like Peter Schiff, they believe in this stuff very much. And they put massive parts of their own portfolio into gold and silver. Mike Maloney and Peter Schiff are the 2 most influential ones for me when it comes to precious metals. It doesn't even come close. Right after your wake and bake, John. Excellent. I do have relaxation for us at the end of this as well when we get into closer to XRP. So make sure you watch the previous midday market reports to catch up. Back is going to be the fall guy. Get out now. Yeah, I could see that. But going along those terms, if I know you're speaking of something else, but he's talking about back. Watch the BOA, and I'm not talking about the BOA constrictor here in the next week or 2. Bank of America, there's a big deal going on right now. Somebody deposited $33,000. It's full noted. It's a very respectable guy, and he did a cashier's check, and it's nowhere to be found in his other bank. So, Bank of America is under some stress. So we're going to go into some weird times. So pay attention to that with Bank of America. And there's one thing I would also like to pay attention to with this, because one could say that the Dow, I know it broke down out of that lower formation right there, but couldn't one say that we're actually starting some weird type of broadening wedge here? I mean, I don't want to be like a dick. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or good news, but couldn't one argue, let me just fix this. Couldn't one argue that we've started a broadening wedge here with the Dow? Yes, we broke down, and that's how we know that we had to come to at least 32,580. And if it's a broadening wedge starting, guys and gals, am I wrong? Is there a broadening wedge starting here? And it hasn't confirmed yet, but resistance, support, resistance. If it comes down here, that would confirm the broadening wedge. I mean, what are we thinking here? Am I crazy? Is that what it's looking like in the Dow? This is something we do this every single day. So we start to form an opinion and we can start to see what's going on here. What's irrelevant is this. Even though it hit, no, I guess it's not, because it did use it as a resistance like we were kind of saying it might. Never mind, that's not irrelevant, 3,906. That was the 200 day that we speculated that it would get rejected there for this death cross to happen. So look at the daily. We're about to have a death cross here in the daily as well. So just please pay attention to all of this. Mark, I'm so glad you're doing good. Jorge, thank you so much for the confirmation. So that's what's going on with the Dow. I think we're transitioning into a broadening wedge. It's very possible. So that should be about 30,940 if it continues in this trajectory. And we've seen the upper levels we'd have to break past. We need to come back above this death cross. So that looming death cross. Do I think we're going to go down without a retest? Likely not. So now you can get everybody's jollies all feeling good for a minute. Because now it's either going to be here you have a 2.6% move, or it's going to be down about 1.5% farther down, and it would be a 4.1% reverse move. So that's the Dow, and like in the screen behind me, I know it's inverted on you, but S&P's down 28.97, Nasdaq's down 117. You can see gold's down 4.29, silver's down 17 cents, copper's down a couple bucks, aluminum's down 14 bucks, platinum's down 9.52. The VIX is up 0.77 or 77 cents, up 4% to 1931. Aluminum's down 14 bucks. So everything's under pressure. All the metals are under pressure. So when you see the VIX start rising, the VIX is a good indicator that the risk assets or the metals are under a lot of pressure. When the VIX is rising, a lot of times precious metals are under pressure. So we'll see how this plays out. So the DXY is at 106.54. It's continued the retracement we called out a couple days ago on the midday market reports. So if you're following along, just remember, we're going to have to likely retest in the daily. And I'll show you the area we're at now, but if we continue coming down any farther, we're going to have to come down to about the 106 area. Our only hope here is in the 4-hour time frame is to try to come back and reserve this 20-day. It doesn't look like it's happening right now. We're below it. We used 106.74 as a resistance once now. So let's see what happens here. If it continues, you're going to finish this retracement, and it's not uncommon. It's done it the entire way up to signify an even bigger move. And what I mean by that is this. Infamous, welcome in. The dot. Now, is this just the next area? I mean, not infamous. Devin, welcome in. I don't know why I said infamous. Devin, welcome in. Terry, the wedge is here. Yes. Could be. So, when we're looking at this, is it any surprise that we're retracing again here? And then if you think we're done, you would come down and break this 106, but you would bounce first on 105.17, back up to about the 106, and then you'd come back down. And then it's speculative. If you reject there, your next likely scenario would be all the way down to 102.05 area. So just pay attention. Just pay attention there, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the U.S. 10-year down 0.21% to 4.72. OMC, welcome in. What's going on, my friend? You know, I must say, I'm really appreciating not just the community that's watching this, 55 people on the midday market report. Remember in the earlier days, a couple weeks ago, we only had like 25 people, if we were lucky. Now 55, 60, 50. But it's the communication that's going on with the audience too. The midday market report's turning into something. And I think my delivery is getting a lot better with the midday market report. And I think the enjoyability of it is starting to show through because I am actually enjoying this midday market report more than you know. So we're still working on the U.S. government bond. Is this going to be a resistance to pull it back down, to pull it back up, to pull it out? Or can we get on top of this and then start rolling? I still thought that it was a 50% chance to come up to that 507. It's only a 50% chance because there can be a consolidation first. Or a 50% chance it breaks on top and goes. That's what it was. We were certain it was coming up here. That wasn't the question. There's a 50% chance that we can continue moving on. And from what I'm seeing in current environments, I would like to change this percentage just a little bit. Because nobody's buying this. Nobody's buying these bonds, which means we're going to come to a... Tanya, I'm so glad you're in here because I want to talk further about this. I seen your comment yesterday, and I did not want to talk about it when you weren't in the live or whatever, and I didn't want to comment through it. But Tanya yesterday shared with us that she's on the ledger, and she lost her XRP and XLM, I believe. Now, I've warned about the ledger, not that you shouldn't use it, but that there was back-end ways to be hacked, even if you're not sharing your information, due to a firmware update they made that made it hackable. And some have asked me the alternative, and I just simply said you can use a Zoom wallet. You can put your stuff in a Zoom wallet, and it's at least on the ledger. It's a self-custodial wallet as well. And if anybody uses Zoom, please elaborate on it. Because me personally, I've expanded into Zoom, and I'll talk about this at a later date. But I have now tested and have some on the wallet, which is attached to the ledger, but it's through Zoom, so self-custodial, so I have all my stuff. But the ledger itself, because I've been trying to test what other people do, But she lost hers on the XRP ledger, and Tanya is not going to lie to us. Tanya is not some speculative person out there, and she's not sharing her stuff. She's very aware. She's actually my birthday sister. She shares a birthday on the same day as me. Kyle, you use Zoom. Excellent. And it's in beta right now, too. So you're an early adopter if you use it. And it gives you access to buy stuff on the ledger as well. You like Arculus, Joe? And see, some people got really upset with me when I mentioned that there was ways for the ledger to be hacked. And I read the information and they said it was FUD. You know, I was just trying to get information. And now it's happened to my beloved audience member in Tanya. Like, that makes me not feel too well. Tanya, what route were you using? Were you on the XRP ledger, like the official ledger? Or were you on like a alternate way of putting stuff on the ledger? Marvin, welcome in, and I'll continue this with the bonds at 5.07%. I thought it was a 50-50 chance. Now I expect. Okay, so you were just on the ledger. So the ledger live, I would say. That makes me sick to my stomach. Because I've heard this before, and I was told time and time again by anybody who was using the ledger directly. Now, I'm not talking about like the Zoom wallet or ones that you can connect into the ledger. I'm talking about the ledger itself. I've talked about it. And I've heard people tell me I'm the one causing FUD. But once again, now this is somebody from the audience. You know, so I don't know. You know, you guys need... Is there any suggestions? You paid 70 euro for it. Yeah, see, that's why I don't trust the ledger. Just having I just feel like I don't know. The whole thing is tough now. The whole thing is tough. 58%. I've upped it. A 58% chance now to break that 5.07. Yep, same. Mark. I also have put my XRP on Zoom. As some of you might have guessed by now when I was testing it out. So that's where mine's at right now. The rest of my crypto's on Uphold. But I've figured out that I can put Gala on Zoom as well. Which is cool. I just got to figure out how to do it. So moving on. The 10-year, as we talked about there, the person who done it had over 4 million XRP off people. Jesus. That's because they're using that firmware hack I talked about. I guarantee it. It allows a backdoor for people to get into your wallet. If you use the XRP. If you use just the ledger directly. Marvin, yep, that's another good one I've used. Or not used, but that's another good one that a lot of people trust is decent. But Tanya, the reason I like Uphold is because they actually ship precious metals. And when you ship precious metals, you have to have special licensing. And if you screw it up through crypto, they're going to take your license away. And I guarantee by being bullion dealers, they're making more probably off of bullion than their crypto, which is probably another reason why they don't have to do some of the crazy things to keep their exchange open, and which is why they try. I don't want to say it. Trading with J-Ride, but yes, the Ledger Nanos. I've said it in the past, and I've been said I'm the bad guy. I'm only speaking from what I see from a coding perspective that could be a problem. And when they put workarounds in it, it makes me uncomfortable. And yeah, she's Ledger Live. So that's why I've always been speculative of it. And like for me, I've tried to put stuff on the ledger through Zoom. Or I have not tried, I have. And I'm testing out Zoom to try to put on my Gala and all this other stuff. But I'm not doing it through a Nano or anything like. I'm not doing it. I'll keep my self-custodial. I'll keep my own codes. It's just shady. And I don't like that my audience is being hit by this shadiness, because if you've noticed, every influencer besides me pushes the Nano X. every single person besides me who covers XRP is a paid sponsor through the NanoX ledger. You can see it when they do the updates. It says paid sponsored or paid partner. Of course they're going to tell you to buy it. That's what I'm saying. Anything that's a paid partner, I can't listen. With Zoom, even if I wanted to give you an affiliate link for me to make money, it doesn't exist. There's no way for me to make money off of Zoom. I can tell you about it. There's no way for me to make money off of saying to put it on Zoom if you want to store it in a cold wallet or a Descent wallet. Like, I can't physically make money on it. They can't offer me a partnership is my point. I've been approached by NanoX or the Nano. Oh man, it makes me so mad. I've been approached by it so many times to get paid to promote it that it made me think twice about it. And then every time I would talk about it, people would get mad at me. And it's like, I have inside information. I am a YouTuber that they're trying to pay to push this information. Why? Just ask yourself, why? And ask yourself, why don't I have paid partnerships and sponsorships and advertisements of any kind? Except for the YouTube advertisements, which I even have to sit through, believe it or not, when I'm watching my video. So that's just something to consider. Crude oil. Where do I buy gold? Okay. So as much as I talk about Uphold being a bullion dealer, I advise you from buying it there unless it's your last choice because of the higher spot fees or the higher over spot fees. But I buy, if I'm using fiat and I'm in the USA, if I use cash, like my bank, money that's in fiat, the greenback, I use JM Bullion. Never had a problem since 2017. Never had an issue with it being real. And I've tested. Never had an issue with delivery not coming. Never had an issue with pricing. And then if I buy from crypto, and I've been doing this since early 2023, as it became more adopted, I've been buying from Scottsdale Mint. And if you go into the silver stacking videos, I show a live demonstration through both many times. And I am not affiliated with either. There is no link that I can even share because I'm not affiliated. Nothing I share you, I'm an affiliate with. With the crypto stuff, I can share because they have a link. So with this, it's 93.73 is what we were looking at. We got rejected up here. Now we're looking to come down to 80.77 or possibly 77. It's an 85% probability we come up to that 123 level before it's all said. Well, 109. And then it gets smaller up there, but 109 we should hit. Gold silver ratio at 87.2. It's looking very firm here. We have a golden cross in the daily. And as we've talked about for a very long time, we came back. We weren't in the range. We were down here when we first started these midday market reports. But we talked about how we were about to have a breakout. And we could either push 92 or up to 97 to 98 to 1. Julie, your mom was here. She stopped by. I'm just doing the midday market report real quick.
Come back.
Yeah, she said she'll be back before Scarlett gets out of school. So we're looking for this to come up. Next level would be 88.942. As long as we hold 86.68, you'll come up in rhythm. But I want to take away this. Nope, not that one. Wrong one. I want to take away that in-between one. 91.91 is where we're searching right now. That's where we're seeking if we can hold 86.68. And then the reason you get to that is gold is down to 18.15, down another $5 or 0.28%. Been very bearish since we've been doing the midday market reports. And if anybody's watching, if you want to join me with the cannabis, I greatly appreciate it. 72 people watching, 56 likes. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button as it will help push this content. It will help more people see the truth. And it'll help more people stay on top of the midday market reports. I am so blessed, honored, and thrilled that so many of you are taking appreciation of these midday market reports. It's been evolving by the day, and this is my thing I'm looking most to. I love looking forward to XRP, but I'm gaining a different perspective here with some of you during the midday market reports. So I appreciate it. So gold, 1792 at a 95% probability. Yeah, you're like, hey, 95% from here. No, we've been saying it since it was in this structure. So yeah. And then there's a chance that it can come down to 1725 as well. But the 95% chance was it was going to at least hit 1792 when it fell out of the structure, as the technical target is there. There's going to be a volatile swing back up at some point with gold. So we've got to see when it happens, and we can't get caught with our pants down. Silver, another technical target it's getting close to, but not quite there. 75% chance it comes down to here. Okay? 25% chance it bounces off of $20, approximately $20.20, and comes up for a retest and or break back out of 22.80. Or it continues down at a 75% clip. That's still 1 in 4 chance it hits here and bounces back up. So remember that. So that's the best I can show you for silver. And then with B2 gold, make sure you get some capital to the side. Please get some capital to the side. Come on with a $20 donation. Wow. We have not even talked about a donation or a way to send a donation with the YouTube Super Chat if you want to show extra support. Or if you want to join Tom's army to pay it for. We haven't even talked about that. And yet, this fine gentleman, Tom M1200, has donated $20. I'm so glad you're appreciating the midday market report and the lives during the midday. I'm so blessed and honored. Yesterday, I didn't have as much time to talk during the midday market report. Today, I've got a little bit of time. So every day is a little bit different. Crypto Solo Scrooge in the house. Please make sure you go watch Crypto Solo Scrooge here on YouTube. As he covers Solo, he covers Corium, anything really to do with the XRP ledger, XRP. And Tanya, again, I'm not sure what else we can do for you, but I just want you to know that if I can help you in any way or if I can try to help you, please let me know. If anybody's just tuning in, Tanya was using the Nano Ledger, as I've warned about, because I've seen in the Ledger Live with the back-end hardware, with the hacks, when they made the backdoor, as I talked about, and her XRP and XLM got hacked. So what I've suggested is use the Zoom wallet, some with the Descent as well. They use it with the biometrics. But I personally have put my XRP in Zoom. I haven't made it full disclosure, but I'm making it full disclosure to the ones here on the Midday Market Report. I did this like 2 weeks ago because I was testing it out. And it was flawless, seamless. And now I've come to realize I can put my Gala on there. So all my other stuff right now is on Uphold. But I'm using Zoom. And Crypto Solo Scrooge is a big reason. He was a big part of why I started using it. He gave me, now he didn't give me his word, but he gave me it as endorsement. Let's put it that way. It is very easy. You just have to make sure you don't lose anything. But it's very simple. It's a self-custodial wallet, so it's your own wallet. It's not owned by anybody else. You can react on the XRP ledger. You can do anything that it does on the ledger through the Zoom. It's got a way to connect to it. But when you're using it, it'll just upload it from your wallet to the ledger to use it. And then it'll come back, what you don't want to use, you put it back on the wallet. So that's why I prefer to do that than have it on the Nano. I just feel so bad for you, Tanya. It's such a disgrace. And you're somebody who really appreciates XRP and XLM and that kind of stuff. Oh, you do? Oh, I didn't know you could put so. I thought you could. Hey, Crypto Solo Scrooge. So I be killing it. Did you see his question? Can you answer I be killing it? Or I be killing? He says, is it a physical ledger? Will you please answer? So that they don't think I'm just giving them information because it's something I'm using. So I'll answer it if nobody does in a second. So we're looking for this, though. We could get a retest up here at about $3.16, or we could get beaten down at $2.98. There's a chance a little earlier. If you're a crypto, no. Crypto can be tracked all around. That's the misconception. Anytime you move crypto, anytime crypto moves, it can be tracked. You don't need to, whether it's in a wallet or not, it's being tracked. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but no matter when you move it, there's always a transfer ID, period. Oh, this is awesome. I'm going to be working on this to put the other stuff on Zoom as well, because I have Solo and Quorum and all that. It can all be tracked. They tell you crypto can't be tracked so that you think you can evade the government. It's actually more easily tracked than cash. Think about it. Yeah, and you can use it on the iPhone and Android, yes. But as far as physical, I mean, you don't need to have a third party like a Nano or anything. You don't need to buy a software piece. So you're not plugging it into anything. Let's just put it that way. Yep. And it's in beta still, so it's still it's still a beta testing. So like if you believe in it, it's just a way to get your stuff on the ledger without having to keep it on the ledger 100% of the time, basically. Yeah, Zoom. XUMM, yes. It's just a way to keep yourself custodial, to be a part of the ledger if you want to be. Yes, that's what it's called, Tanya. How can you get robbed? What do you mean, John? So anyhow, because the rest of it's speculative, let me just continue with the midday market report. So the breakdown would be to 240. This could be the fake J hook. We're looking for either rejection at 291 or 298, or possibly the structure breakdown at about $3.20. So we'll see there. Mario, welcome in. Mario, how are you doing? Yeah, okay, that's exactly it. So if it's not traceable, if that's what you're saying, how can you get robbed then if it's not traceable? I've said from the beginning they're all trackable. That's how you can get robbed. The reason you can get robbed, like on the ledger, is because they put in a backdoor firmware update that allowed it to be hackable. I broke that news when it happened, and I wasn't trying to be the bearer of bad news. I was just telling everybody the Nano put in a backdoor. Anyhow, this is the midday market report. Moving on. So that's with B2 Gold. And yes, we've overstayed our welcome on the midday market report. As I can see, we've pressed the buttons here. So let's just finish this real quick.
I have a very sad one, guys.
Why?
His phone fell in between the wall and his bed. And we can't reach it.
Oh, I'll get it. And then real quick XRP, because I got to go help my son. It's down 2.33% or 2.23%. We've fallen below that 524 critical support. But as we talked about earlier, as long as we hold the 200 at 515, and also this is the pattern structure on the short term, the inverted head and shoulders is still fine, and this can certainly be misdirection. So we're looking for a hold right around that 5-1. We'll call it 514. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you got anything on this, please make sure to hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. And I got to go help my son. So please stay emotionless, stay positive, and be helpful. And take this the right way. This is just information being put out there because of something that happened to somebody.